It all started on a rainy Thursday evening. The kind of rain that blurs the streetlights and makes the air feel heavy. Emma had just finished work and was driving home when her phone buzzed. It was her sister, Claire. "Can you come over? It's complicated." Claire's voice was tight, unusual for her. Emma felt a knot in her stomach. "Sure, I'll be there in 20 minutes." When she arrived, the house was quiet, almost too quiet. Claire was sitting on the couch, hugging a blanket around her shoulders, staring at the floor. Emma noticed her husband, Mark, standing near the window. He looked tense. "Emma, thanks for coming," Claire said softly, her voice barely above a whisper. I needed someone to talk to." Emma sat down next to her, careful not to crowd her. "You know I'm always here," she said. Mark didn't say much at first. He leaned against the wall, arms crossed, eyes fixed on some invisible point outside. Something about the way he was standing made Emma uneasy. Then, out of nowhere, he spoke. "Emma, can I talk to you for a second? Alone?" His tone was low, serious, and it sent a shiver down her spine. Claire looked confused, but nodded, leaving the room quickly. Emma followed Mark into the kitchen. The rain tapped against the window, filling the silence. I need to ask you something," Mark said, avoiding eye contact. "Something I shouldn't, maybe." He ran a hand through his hair and finally looked at her. His eyes were serious, but there was something vulnerable there, too. Emma felt her heart race. She didn't know what to expect. "Okay, what is it?" He hesitated, then asked a question that made her stop in her tracks. "Do you think it's possible for someone to feel trapped in a marriage even when they love their spouse?" Emma blinked, unsure how to respond. She felt the weight of the question pressing on her chest. I guess it's possible," she said slowly. "Why do you ask?" Mark looked away again, then back at her. "Because sometimes I feel stuck, and I don't know if I should say anything. I love Claire, I really do, but..." His voice broke slightly. "There's this feeling I can't shake." Emma didn't know what to say. She wanted to reassure him, but the words seemed inadequate. She just nodded and waited, sensing that he needed this moment more than anything. He sighed, letting some tension slip from his shoulders. "I needed to tell someone," he admitted. "I can't tell Claire, not like this. You're the only one I trust to understand." Emma's mind was racing. She wanted to comfort him, but she also felt a strange distance growing between them, one that had never existed before. The room felt smaller somehow, filled with unspoken words and emotions. For a long moment, they stood in silence, listening to the rain. The quiet was almost deafening. Finally, Mark spoke again, softer this time. I don't know how to handle it. I'm afraid of making things worse." Emma's heart ached for both of them. She could see the love he had for Claire, and the conflict inside him was almost tangible. She knew this was dangerous territory, but she couldn't turn away. Before leaving, she took a deep breath. "Mark, thank you for trusting me. That means a lot. I hope you find clarity soon." He nodded, looking relieved and exhausted at the same time. As she returned to the living room, Claire was still sitting there, quiet but smiling faintly. Emma felt the heaviness in the air linger. She sat down, forcing herself to smile, and said, "Everything okay?" Claire's smile faltered slightly. "Yeah, thanks for coming." Emma tried to relax, but Mark's words echoed in her mind. She couldn't shake the question he had asked, the vulnerability in his eyes, the way he had looked at her. If you're enjoying this story so far, please like the video and subscribe for more heartfelt tales. The night went on, but Emma couldn't sleep. She kept replaying Mark's question, thinking about what it meant, and feeling a strange pull she didn't understand. By the time she got home, it was nearly 2 a.m., and the rain had stopped, but the unease didn't fade. The next morning, Emma's phone buzzed again. It was Mark. She hesitated before picking up. "Emma, can we talk again? It's urgent." Her stomach dropped. Something was about to happen, and she had no idea what it would mean for her, Claire, or Mark. The question lingered in her mind. Could someone really feel trapped in love? And if they did, what would they do about it? Emma didn't answer right away. She stared at her phone, feeling the weight of his message sink into her chest. It wasn't like Mark to reach out twice in less than a day. Something was shifting, and she wasn't sure she liked the direction it was heading. After a long breath, she typed back, "Are you okay?" His reply came almost instantly. "Can you meet me? Just for a few minutes." Emma sat on the edge of her bed, wondering if she was stepping into something she shouldn't. But the urgency in his words pulled her in. She grabbed her keys and headed out, her stomach tight. They met at a small park on the edge of town. The morning air was cool, and the grass sparkled with leftover rain. Mark stood near a bench, hands buried in his pockets, shoulders tight. When he saw her, he offered a small, tired smile. "Thanks for coming." Emma nodded, keeping a bit of distance. "What's going on?" Mark looked down for a moment, as if searching for the right place to start. "I didn't sleep last night," he admitted. "What I told you, it wasn't the whole story." Emma's pulse quickened. She crossed her arms, trying to keep herself steady. "Okay, so tell me the whole story." He sank onto the bench, running both hands through his hair. "I love Claire. I always have. But lately, she's been distant, distracted. And I don't know if it's work or stress or something else, but it feels like she's slipping away." Emma sat beside him, careful not to sit too close. "Did you talk to her about it?" "I tried," he said, with a slow shake of his head. "She says she's fine, says she's just tired, but it feels like there's more to it." Emma watched him. His voice wasn't angry. It wasn't resentful. It was scared, and that scared her too. "I don't know what you're expecting from me," she said softly. "I can listen, but I can't fix whatever's happening between you two." He looked at her then, eyes heavy, expression worn. "I know. I'm not asking you to fix anything. I needed someone who isn't inside the problem." The wind brushed through the trees behind them, carrying a faint chill. Mark took a breath. "There's something else, and I hate that I'm saying it out loud." Emma felt a knot tighten in her chest. "What is it?" He hesitated, jaw tightening. "I think Claire is keeping a secret, and I think it's something big." Emma stared at him. "Why would you think that?" He looked away. "Last week, she got a phone call. Late, around 11. She stepped outside to take it, and when she came back in, she looked shaken. When I asked her who it was, she said it was no one. Then she changed the subject." Emma felt a flicker of concern. Claire wasn't secretive. She wasn't the type to dodge questions. "And yesterday," Mark continued, "I found her crying in the bathroom. She said it was allergies, but I know her. It wasn't allergies." Emma took a slow breath, letting the pieces settle. "Maybe she's overwhelmed," she offered. "People hide things when they're scared or unsure." He nodded. "I know, but I can't shake the feeling that whatever she's hiding, it's going to change everything." Emma leaned back slightly, staring at the empty swings across the park. The silence lingered between them. "Why tell me?" she finally asked. "Because you see her differently," Mark said quietly. You're close to her in a way I can't be right now. I thought maybe you'd notice something I'm missing." Emma wasn't sure how to respond. She understood his worry, but she also felt the weight of being pulled into the middle. And there was something else, too, something she didn't want to name. He exhaled, shoulders dropping. "I'm sorry, I don't want to drag you into this. I just didn't know who else to talk to." Emma stood, needing to breathe. "I'll check on her," she said gently. "But you need to talk to her again. Really talk." Mark nodded, though it didn't look like he believed conversation would fix anything. As Emma walked back to her car, she felt a strange ache in her chest. The questions were piling up, and none of them had clear answers yet. She didn't know it, but something had already shifted, something that would force all three of them to face truths they never planned to confront. And it would begin sooner than she expected. Emma drove straight to Claire's house that afternoon. She didn't call ahead. She needed to see her face, hear her tone, feel the room. The questions Mark raised had settled deep into her thoughts, and she couldn't ignore them anymore. When Claire opened the door, she looked surprised and tired. Not just a little tired, worn down in a way Emma hadn't seen before. "Hey," Claire said, smoothing her hair back. "Everything okay?" Emma forced a warm smile. "I was nearby and thought I'd stop in." Claire stepped aside. "Come in. I just made coffee." The house felt different. Not messy, not chaotic, just quiet, heavy somehow. Emma followed Claire to the kitchen and watched her pour 2 mugs. "You look exhausted," Emma said gently. Claire gave a small shrug. "Just a long week." Emma didn't push at first. They talked about work, the weather, little things that didn't matter. But Claire kept fidgeting with the edge of her sleeve. She kept avoiding eye contact. It didn't feel like Claire. After a few minutes, Emma set her mug down. "Claire, are you sure you're okay? You can tell me if something's wrong." Claire froze for a second. Just a second. But it was enough. She kept her eyes on the counter. "Why do you ask?" Emma hesitated, choosing her words carefully. "You just don't seem like yourself lately." Claire's throat moved as she swallowed. She nodded slowly. "I know, I've been a little off." Emma waited. Claire didn't continue. So she tried again. "If something is bothering you, you know I won't judge. You know I'll listen." Claire finally looked up. Her eyes were glassy, but she blinked the emotion away. "I'm fine," she insisted quietly. "Really." Emma heard the tremble in her voice, but she didn't want to corner her. Not like this. She softened her tone. "Okay, but if you ever want to talk, I'm here." Claire nodded. "I know, and that means more than you think." For a moment, the room felt calm, but underneath it, the tension still hummed. Emma stayed another half hour, talking gently, watching for clues. Claire offered smiles, but they were thin. She laughed once or twice, but the sound felt forced, and the whole time, Emma kept noticing something in her sister's eyes, something that looked like fear. When Emma finally stood to leave, Claire walked her to the door. As Emma stepped outside, Claire suddenly called her name. When Emma turned, Claire looked as though she was fighting with herself. "Emma, do you ever feel like life is about to change and you can't stop it?" she asked quietly. The question hit Emma harder than she expected. "Sometimes," she admitted. "Why?" Claire shook her head quickly. "No reason, just curious." But Emma knew better. There was a reason. She just didn't know what it was yet. On the drive home, her mind kept circling around the same thing. Claire wasn't just stressed. She wasn't just tired. Something was happening behind the scenes, something she didn't want to say aloud. Emma tried not to think about Mark's words in the park, but they crept back anyway. A secret, something big, something that might change everything. That night, Emma lay awake, staring at her ceiling. The house was quiet, but her thoughts wouldn't settle. She replayed Claire's voice, Mark's worry, the unanswered questions hanging over both of them. And then, around 8:43 p.m., her phone buzzed. It was Clare. Only 6 words. Can you come by tomorrow? Alone. Emma felt her breath catch. Claire never asked for privacy like that, not unless something was truly wrong. She read the message again, feeling a chill move down her arms. Whatever Claire needed to say, it was something she didn't want Mark to hear. And Emma knew, without a doubt, that the next conversation would change everything. The next morning, Emma arrived at Claire's house just after 10. The sky was pale, and the sunlight seemed softer than usual, almost hesitant. She knocked lightly, her stomach tightening as she waited. Claire opened the door almost immediately. She looked different, paler, quieter, more fragile. "Thanks for coming," she said softly. "I really needed to talk to you alone." Emma stepped inside, closing the door behind her. The air smelled faintly of coffee and something else she couldn't place. Claire led her to the living room, sitting on the couch while Emma perched on the armchair across from her. Claire exhaled deeply. "I wasn't sure how to start this," she admitted, "but I need to tell you something. Something I've been keeping from Mark." Emma's heart skipped. She leaned in slightly, encouraging her. "It's okay, you can tell me." Claire's hands trembled as she twisted them together. "It's complicated. I've been offered a job, far away, out of state, and it's an amazing opportunity, but it means I'll have to move." Emma blinked, trying to process. "Move? You mean you and Mark?" Claire nodded. "I haven't told him yet. I didn't want to worry him. And honestly, I'm scared of what he'll say. I love him, Emma, but this job, it's everything I've been working toward, and it's my dream." Emma's chest tightened. She understood ambition, the pull of a dream, but she also understood Mark's fear. The thought of him feeling trapped, it all made sense now. His unease, the tension, the fear that something was wrong. "I can see why you didn't tell him yet," Emma said softly. "It's a big change, and it's scary for both of you." Claire's eyes filled with tears. "I don't want to hurt him. I really don't. But I also can't ignore this. Emma, I don't know how to do both." Emma reached out, placing a comforting hand on her sister's. "You don't have to figure it all out alone, but you have to be honest. He deserves that." Claire nodded, biting her lip. "I know, and I will, soon. I needed to say it out loud first, to someone who understands." Emma's mind raced. She thought of Mark waiting, worrying, wondering what was going on. She felt the weight of the secret pressing on all of them. "Do you want me to help you tell him?" Emma asked gently. "Or at least support you when you do?" Claire nodded again. "Yes, I need that." For a long moment, they sat together, quiet, letting the significance of the moment settle. The room felt heavy, but also full of unspoken understanding. Emma knew this would be difficult. Mark loved Claire. Claire loved Mark. But this change, this decision, it could shift everything in ways none of them were ready for. "Finally," Claire whispered, almost to herself. "I'm scared, Emma. What if he doesn't understand?" Emma squeezed her hand. He might be scared too, but love can survive hard things if you face them together. Claire nodded, tears slipping down her cheeks. Emma gave her a moment, then stood. "Let's plan how you'll tell him. Carefully, gently, so it doesn't shatter him, but so he knows the truth. Claire nodded again, and they began to talk through every word, every possible reaction. Emma could see the tension slowly leaving Claire's body. Speaking aloud made the secret lighter, but it also made the consequences real. By the time Emma left, the sun was dipping low in the sky. Claire walked her to the door, lingering before letting her go. Emma drove home, replaying their conversation. She felt a strange mix of relief and worry. The secret was out, sort of, but the real test hadn't come yet. Mark would have to hear this soon, and Emma couldn't shake the thought that everything could change in a single conversation. Her phone buzzed, a message from Mark. "Did Claire talk to you today?" Emma hesitated. She hadn't said anything, not yet, but she knew she had to. "Yes, we talked about something important." She stared at the screen, knowing the moment of truth was coming. And when it did, there would be no going back. That evening, Emma found herself pacing her living room, phone in hand. She had arranged for Mark to come over, carefully, to talk. Claire had agreed to meet there too, so it could be a neutral place. But the tension was already thick, almost suffocating. When Mark arrived, his face was drawn, his usual confidence gone. He looked at Emma first, giving her a small, grateful nod. Then his gaze drifted toward Claire, who was sitting quietly on the couch, hands clasped in her lap. "Thanks for having us," Claire said softly. I know this isn't easy." Emma gestured for them to sit. "Let's just be honest," she said. "No judgment, just truth." Mark swallowed hard, eyes flicking between Emma and Claire. "Okay." His voice was low, almost wary. "Claire, what's going on?" Claire took a deep breath, her fingers tightening around each other. "Mark, I got offered a job in another state. It's a dream opportunity, and I can't pass it up." Mark blinked, stunned. He didn't speak at first. Then he ran a hand through his hair, pacing the room. "Another state?" he asked slowly. When did this happen?" Claire looked down. "A couple of weeks ago. I didn't want to tell you until I was sure." Mark stopped pacing, looking at her, a mixture of hurt and confusion on his face. "You didn't want to tell me?" His voice cracked slightly. "Claire, we're supposed to share things. We're supposed to be a team." "I know," Claire whispered. "I wanted to, but I was scared. Scared of disappointing you. Scared of hurting us." Emma watched, heart aching for both of them. Mark's jaw was tight, his eyes searching her sister's. He wanted to understand, but his hurt was real. Finally, he exhaled slowly. I don't know what to say. I love you, Claire. I want the best for you. But I don't want to lose you." Claire's eyes filled with tears. "I don't want to leave you. I love you too. But this is my dream, and I can't ignore it." The room was silent, except for the faint hum of the heater. Emma could feel the tension in every corner. She stayed quiet, letting them face the moment together. "Then we'll figure it out. Somehow. I don't know how, but we'll make it work. I can't promise it'll be easy, but I do know this. I love you, Claire. That won't change." Claire's tears fell freely now. She stood and took his hands in hers. "I love you too, and I don't want this to break us. I need to chase this dream." Mark nodded, a small, shaky smile appearing. "Then we'll do both. We'll face the distance. We'll talk every day. We'll visit. We'll find a way." Emma felt a relief she hadn't realized she'd been holding. The storm wasn't over, but at least the truth was out. The fear, the secrets, the doubts, they were finally in the open. Mark and Claire embraced, a quiet, powerful moment of love and determination. Emma looked at them and smiled softly. She knew it wouldn't be easy, but honesty had brought them closer, not farther apart. Later, as Emma left, Claire hugged her tightly. "Thank you," she whispered, "for being there, for helping me find the courage." Emma nodded, feeling the weight lift off her shoulders. "Any time. That's what sisters are for." Driving home, Emma reflected on the last few days. Life had a way of testing people, sometimes in unexpected ways. Secrets, fears, and unspoken questions could weigh heavily, but love, honesty, and courage, they could heal even the deepest wounds. By the time she reached her driveway, the sun was setting, painting the sky in gold and pink. Emma took a deep breath, a quiet smile on her face. She knew things would be challenging for Mark and Claire, but she also knew they had the foundation to face it together. Some questions lingered, yes. Some fears remained. But sometimes, she realized, the hardest truths led to the strongest bonds. And for now, that was enough.